When your mind is not connected to your body, you risk severe injuries. You risk paralysis. You risk death. There are various gymnasts who have injured themselves past the point of return and can no longer do gymnastics because they missed a flip or they missed an intricate part of their routine during practice or during their performance, and now they're paralyzed. Now they're dead. It's almost like discussing rape or molestation and saying just because the Me Too movement, rape and molestation should not be seen as a serious crime, as a serious issue. It is. But I just think it's so interesting that these Americans are so concerned with how we look because of Simone Biles' actions and behaviors, when a lot of our children don't even fucking know how to distinguish the executive, judicial, and legislative branch. As a Zoomer, my social political stance is often referred to that of a neoliberalist, liberalist, leftist, Democrat, so on and so forth. I am neither. I'm not a neoliberalist, nor am I a liberalist. I am not a leftist, nor am I a Democrat. I am a rationalist. I am a realist. So when pursuing conflicting circumstantial situations, I will always pursue them objectively prior to submitting my subject sentiments. So with that being said, is Simone Biles a quitter? According to Oxford Languages, as an informal noun, a quitter is a person who gives up easily or does not have the courage or determination to finish a task. By definition, judging the actions of Simone Biles, thus her withdrawing from the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, is she a quitter? Yes, by definition, she is a quitter. Now, was her withdrawal or her quitting the 2020 Tokyo Olympics just? Subjectively, it could very well so be deemed as a just act, given that gymnastics requires a lot of mental strength as it too requires physical strength and agility and flexibility and so on and so forth. It very well so can be deemed as a just action for Simone Biles to eliminate herself from the competition. When your mind is not connected to your body, you risk severe injuries. You risk paralysis. You risk death. There are various gymnasts who have injured themselves past the point of return and can no longer do gymnastics because they missed a flip or they missed an intricate part of their routine during practice or during their performance, and now they're paralyzed. Now they're dead. And I'm not sure if a lot of people are aware of this or not, but the elite athletes that then become Olympians and partake in the Olympics are not being paid for their participancy. They are merely provided gold, silver, bronze medallions. They are provided exposure, but they are not being paid directly by and or through the Olympics. They are being endorsed. They are being sponsored by Coca-Cola, by L'Oreal, by whomever, Hershey's. They are endorsed. They are sponsored. And that is where they receive their monetary gain. Even when assessing the Olympians from China, a lot of them pursue gymnastics because they are chosen, as they too identify the opportunity to advance in positions that they would never have access to. They are then given government jobs. They are then given corporate jobs. They are then given opportunities that exist outside of the Olympics if they so choose not to be Olympians or, elite gymnasts anymore. And then there is this demographic of Americans within various comment sections of YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, so on and so forth. There are various commentators on these platforms whom appear to be natural born citizens. I say this only because of how they refer to themselves as Americans and how they discuss America. So there are some Americans that appear to be natural born citizens, and they find most discomfort in Simone's withdrawal because America now looks like a pussy. Excuse my language. That is what a commentator said, and a few commentaries within the comment section, suggested that America looks like pussies because we withdrew from the Tokyo Olympics, or rather Simone Biles withdrew from the Tokyo Olympics. But I just think it's so interesting that these Americans are so concerned with how we look because of Simone Biles' actions and behaviors, when a lot of our children don't even fucking know how to distinguish the executive, judicial, and legislative branch. A lot of our adults don't even know that 12 amendments were proposed prior to the 10 that were accepted. A lot of our Americans who are natural born citizens don't even know the U.S. Constitution, but you have naturalized citizens knowing more about America and being more American than the quote unquote natural born citizens, the quote unquote real Americans. I just thought that was so interesting. Like you feel like America now looks like a pussy because Simone Biles. I'm gonna keep that to myself. And honestly, with this situation, quite comparable to the SHA'CARRI Richardson situation, if people honestly just shut the fuck up about it, Simone Biles withdrawing from the 2020 Olympics really wouldn't have been a big deal. I think it's because people are glorifying, they are glorifying her quitting and suggesting that she's this, that, and the third. And a lot of people are in opposition to that belief, as people are, just to have their own opinion, whatever. I mean, if people would just stop talking about how she's a winner because she quit or how she's a loser because she quit, it really wouldn't have been a big deal, So conclusively, I wanted to have this conversation not on the merit of race and gender, honestly, with the highest regard to athleticism and artistry. These gymnasts are artists and their body is duly an instrument as they too are an artist, you know what I mean? And from the young tender age of 2 to 3, they have been trained for perfection rather than progression, given their pursuit of elite athleticism, given their pursuit of the Olympics. They are often groomed for perfection. And at times, this can be self deprecating. At times, this can be sacrificial. You spend less time with your family. You are voided of a quote unquote normal childhood, normal academia. You were then homeschooled. You go through a lot of rigorous training, and depending on how you were introduced to gymnastics, this may be a love of yours, or this may become something that you thoroughly hate. A lot of people begin gymnastics because it's a hobby. Some begin it because they are chosen, and it soon becomes a profession, bypassing passion. So it's a lot that comes along with doing gymnastics. It's mental, it's emotional, it's physical. Pursuing any sport with the attempt of excellency and elitism, it's a lot. And I just wish that our gymnasts were given a bit more mercy. You know what I mean? A bit more mercy. When considering Carrie Strug, if I'm saying her name correctly, I feel like it was wonderful to see her persevere through the pain, but it was also very disgusting to see that at 18, her career was ended on the basis of her pushing her body past her limits. It's good and bad. You know what I mean? It's all about your perception, but nonetheless, I'm not really here to judge Simone's actions and her behaviors. Take it as you will. I don't know. But I do feel like, people just are talking very recklessly of the sport, the gymnastic sport, not really considering how much they go through. They work and train so hard and so young to where they are deprived of menstruation and maturation. That's why a lot of them, don't have breasts or a lot of, womanly features. They're not as soft and, estrogen like as most women, because they're just pushing their body to the fucking maximum. And I respect it, but I also can see where the pursuit of excellency can be detrimental. Every human is given this intrinsic quality of humanness, yet at times humanity has a way of depriving humans of this intrinsic quality of humanness. And at times humans can deprive themselves of humanness for themselves because they are appealing to humanity. So maybe humanity depriving humanness from you, or you giving away your humanness to humanity. As humans, we are required humanists. We are required to be treated as such. We may perform, beyond humanly belief, but they're still humans, And, just basing a lot of my sentiments on the criteria of an Olympian, of an elite gymnast, if you feel like your average Joe ass, pitch and toe, not kneed, bow-legged, long torso, 2 left feet ass can get up there and do what they do, by all means, do it. If you feel like your fat ass can fly in the air and do triple, double fucking flips, by all means, get your ass up there and do it. But if you can't, shut the fuck up. Honestly, just shut up. As there are still various speculations of Simone Biles truly pulling out due to mental health or just outright less than average performance, overall, I wanted to share my sentiments in this conversation because there should be more mercy given to gymnasts and moreover, athletes that are partaking in a sport that entails not only their physical strength but also their mental strength and their emotional wellness. If you are well-rounded in psychology and or sociology, if you study this collegiately, mental health is a serious issue. Now, can I say the media has glamorized it a little more than you would expect? How the media is utilizing this as a means of cash grab? Absolutely. Like, nobody is denying that, but there still is no need to suggest that mental health is not a real thing. It's almost like discussing rape or molestation and saying just because the Me Too movement, rape and molestation should not be seen as a serious crime, as a serious issue. It is. So nonetheless, I wanted to assert my perspective because there are a lot of people, I guess, downplaying the seriousness of mental health. And as a Generation Z or a Zoomer, I'm also noticing that there are baby boomers, there are millennials, and even members of the silent generation whom are discussing their experience within sports or their generation of growing up and how their coaches used to coach them and call them fat asses or call them pigs and call them ugly, sloppy, etc., etc. Just because it was done didn't mean it was right, because that's why you see some of these individuals growing from a hurt place in their childhood, and now they carry that burden as fat or as muscle. May they be a juice head or may they be on 600 pound, my 600 pound life. There is a dysmorphia that is created. There is eating disorders that can become of this. Just because it was done didn't mean it was right, and it does have a psychological effect on certain people. Mental health is a real thing. It's a real issue. Not to suggest that Simone Biles is not to be accountable for her team possibly not winning a gold medal within the Olympics, because even Russian athletes said, Simone Biles makes 73% of the American team. Without her, we're liable to beat them. And it has been proven thus far within the Olympics. So, of course, there is a level of accountability for personal, I don't know, savior, for the lack of better wording or phrasing, as you are a part of a team and you contribute to the collective as an individual. Of course, there's accountability, whether her team is accepting of her choice or disapproving of her choice. It is something that she is going to have to possibly carry with her